You see here, hi guys and gals. Well, it's a video on the balcony. It's been a rainy day, and it really hasn't been one actually for doing walking videos. So I'm quickly out on the balcony. It's not that cold, but we might actually get snow tomorrow. Yeah, so that's, I mean, when the rain is coming and the temperature is going down. So, what can you chat about today? Well, for one thing, you might notice some of the noise. They're doing lots of road work around here, which actually is a real pain. It's because we can't even drive into our yard right now. They've given us parking permission because everywhere here has paid parking. Yeah. So what about this week? Well, there was a couple things that came up that I thought were worth mentioning. One was, I mean, it's got really nothing to do with me except that it was a coworker who had his bachelor's party starting Friday and going over the weekend. Now, no, I wasn't invited as a younger coworker, and he was doing it with his friends that come from another part of Switzerland. But I did see him and talked about it with him. And, well, just put it this way. You go drinking Friday with your friends. You stay up rather late, so you go to bed and you end up sleeping a few hours. They get you up at 5 o'clock and they cloak your eyes so that you cannot see where you're going. When you finally realize where you are, you're at the airport. Yeah, so they went off to Mallorca for Saturday. They got there around lunch, spent the afternoon on the beach, he said, and left sometime on Sunday afternoon. So that's pretty cool. Actually, that's a pretty nice bachelor's party, I think. Yeah. Okay, so that was one thing. It was pretty interesting, quite different. I don't remember anything like that at my bachelor's party. I don't even remember having a bachelor's party. And what else? Well, on my own side, Monday, I was already asked last week, but we have in the company once a year on different courses. Did I talk about this or not? I don't remember now. We have different courses, and I had to make a replacement. So basically on Monday I gave 4 classes on microbiology and hygiene. I'm not a microbiologist, but I suppose with years you've done enough, and so it was pretty interesting. But there was a little story which I told them, I told them a couple stories because I teach usually with stories. But the last one is I put up a picture. It was in a Russian dairy, a cheese making factory, and there's a picture, clearly a very bad focus picture of a bunch of guys basically sitting in what looks like a hot bath, or a steam bath of some type, but actually it's a cheese tub. So I was saying that you can have a company that does everything. Like, I mean, when the milk came, they controlled it for antibiotics, for bacteria, and so on. It was good. They pasteurized it, put it into the cheese vat, and it was probably just a great temperature for a nice warm bath. Well, maybe they could have gotten away with it, maybe I say, and made a really great cheese. But no, you know the story. It's happened for robbers and things like that. What did somebody do? They went and took pictures of themselves and put it on social media, believe it or not. So of course you can expect that, they got caught and so on. I don't know the whole bit of the story. Maybe they were shot. You never know. Anyway, having said that, I mean, it was my finishing bit of the course because I had to give them an exam. It was a 10-question exam. But I was lucky. Since I was replacing, I didn't really have to prepare anything except that little bit which I added on. So yeah, but I got really good feedback. First off, they told me it wasn't as academic In other words, what they were meaning by academic, they meant it wasn't as boring, and it was different, and that they learned what they needed to learn anyway. So yeah, that's great. It's cool. Actually, somebody even came over to me today and said, "We can tell you've taught before." Okay, I guess that's kind of a compliment. Yeah. So what's up aside from that? Well, yeah. So like I was saying, we can't keep our car in the yard, so we've got it out on the road. So we've got to be careful because depending on what day of the week, sorry, they're tearing the road open. So we're on a side road, but we got to be careful not to get fenced in there and have the car stuck there for a couple days, which would not be very amusing. Yeah. Is there anything else right now? Well. Let me see. No. Well, actually, we did loads of cleaning in our attic. Have you ever taken an attic that hasn't been touched for, let's say, probably close to 18 years and start going over what's in there? Wow, you find things that you say, I absolutely needed that. And 20 years after, it's like, hey, look what I just rediscovered. Yeah. But actually, I did rediscover another box of slides, which I had not scanned. Oh well. Yeah, I will really stop there. That's enough for a little, what day is it? Wednesday, but we're over the hump, but it's still hump day. Yeah, so everybody take care. Hope you're all well. So, DC signing off. Bye-bye. Take care.